There's a silent war that happens inside every human being. Not a war of swords or soldiers, but a war of thoughts. A war between the voice that pushes you forward and the voice that pulls you down. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, knew this war very well. He ruled the greatest empire on earth, yet his real battlefield was his own mind. Each day he woke up surrounded by problems, political chaos, betrayal, pain, disease. But his biggest enemy wasn't outside. It lived inside his head. He once wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Those words weren't written for others. He wrote them to himself. Because even an emperor had to remind himself that peace doesn't come from control over the world. It comes from control over the mind. The whisper of negativity. It starts small, that quiet voice that tells you, "You can't do this. You're not good enough. What if everything goes wrong?" Marcus heard it too. Every morning when he faced the heavy burden of leadership, that voice would whisper doubt into his heart. But Marcus didn't run away from it. He studied it. He treated his thoughts like a philosopher, not a victim. He would ask, "Is this thought helping me or harming me?" That simple question separated him from his emotions. He refused to believe every thought his mind created. Because here's the truth, your mind lies. It creates illusions to protect you from failure, but in doing so, it also keeps you small. Marcus learned that mastery begins when you stop reacting and start observing. The emperor's morning discipline. Every morning before the empire woke up, Marcus would sit alone and write. Those writings, which became meditations, were his daily training ground. He was not writing to inspire others. He was writing to remind himself, stay calm, stay rational, stay strong. He prepared for negativity before it arrived. He wrote, "When you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, today you will meet ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and unsocial men." Why would a man say this to himself? Because Marcus knew that the world would test his peace. By expecting negativity, he took away its surprise. That is the secret of Stoicism, not to avoid problems but to expect them. And when they come, to remain unshaken. The Stoic lens. Marcus developed a way of seeing life that destroyed negative thinking. He treated every obstacle as a lesson, every insult as training, every failure as fuel. He refused to see events as good or bad. They were simply happenings. He once wrote, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." Think about that. It means that nothing outside has meaning, except the meaning you give it. If you see failure as an end, it becomes one. If you see it as growth, it becomes your teacher. That's how Marcus turned darkness into discipline. He didn't fight his problems, he used them, silencing the storm. The mind is loud when the heart is untrained. Marcus understood that peace doesn't come from silence around you. It comes from silence within you. To control your thoughts, you must learn to step back and watch them. He practiced this daily. Whenever anger rose, he would remind himself, "You will not be harmed by the thing itself, but by your opinion about it." That one realization is the key to freedom. Because no matter what happens, someone insults you, betrays you, or disappoints you, it's not the event that hurts you, it's your interpretation of it. Marcus learned to question his reactions before they took over. That's how he broke the chain of negativity. He created space between stimulus and response, and in that space he found power. Pain, the hidden teacher. Marcus faced endless pain. He lost children. He lost friends. He led his army through plague and loss. But he didn't curse the pain, he used it. He believed pain was a natural part of existence, a messenger from life itself. Where others saw suffering, Marcus saw sharpening, the fire that strengthens steel. He wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way." That is the essence of Stoic strength. Every obstacle can either break you or build you. Negative thinking says, "I can't." Stoic thinking says, "Let this shape me." Controlling the inner dialogue. Marcus didn't let his mind wander uncontrolled. He guarded it like a fortress. Because he knew, once negativity takes root, it spreads like poison. So he replaced self-doubt with self-command. Whenever his thoughts grew heavy, he would remind himself, "If it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining." Those words are simple, but they carry power. Because every complaint feeds the weakness of the mind. And silence strengthens it. Marcus taught himself to respond with calm, not chaos. With purpose, not panic. With wisdom, not emotion. The journey had only begun. Marcus was learning to see his own mind as a tool, something that could either serve him or enslave him. And as each day passed, he discovered that the more he observed his thoughts, the less control they had over him. The battle within was far from over, but the emperor had begun to win. The battle inside Marcus's mind didn't stop, it never does. But over time he learned that the only way to win against negativity was through training. Just like soldiers train their bodies for war, he trained his mind for peace. Every morning before he put on the armor of an emperor, he would put on the armor of wisdom. He reminded himself that his power was not in the throne, not in the sword, but in his ability to stay calm when the world was falling apart. He wrote, "You become what you give your attention to. If your thoughts are dark, you will live in darkness." That was his philosophy. And that's where his real power began. Mental rehearsal, the Stoic technique. Marcus practiced something we now call mental rehearsal. Before the day began, he would imagine the challenges he might face: betrayal, anger, loss, disappointment. He didn't do this to become afraid, he did it to become ready. He knew that if he expected life to be easy, he'd suffer. But if he expected resistance, he'd remain strong. He called this preparation premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It was his way of saying, "I will not be surprised by pain." This practice killed negative thinking before it could even appear. Because when you expect difficulty, it cannot defeat you, you've already faced it in your mind. The discipline of observation. Marcus didn't try to control every thought. He learned to watch them. He became an observer of his own mind. Whenever anger, sadness, or fear appeared, he didn't say, "Go away." He said, "I see you." That's the Stoic discipline, to look at your emotions without letting them rule you. Marcus knew that emotions lose power when they are seen clearly. They only control you when you react blindly. So he trained himself to pause before reacting, to breathe before speaking, to think before deciding. That's how he built an unshakable mind, by mastering the pause, separating the self from the thought. Marcus discovered something profound. He was not his thoughts. He realized that negative thinking is just noise, the brain doing what it does, trying to protect you, warn you, scare you. But you are not the noise. You are the awareness behind it. He wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." That means if you don't choose your thoughts, they will choose your reality. If you let negativity dominate your mind, your life will reflect it. But if you consciously guide your thoughts towards strength, patience, and virtue, your world begins to change. Marcus started to treat his mind like a garden. Every morning he removed weeds, fear, anger, jealousy. And every night he planted seeds, gratitude, patience, humility. That was his ritual. Not prayers to gods, but conversations with his own soul, facing the mirror of the mind. One evening, after a long day of war councils and endless decisions, Marcus sat alone in his tent. Outside, soldiers whispered, fires burned, and the wind carried the scent of battle. Inside, silence. He looked into a polished bronze mirror, the kind soldiers used to fix their armor. But Marcus wasn't checking his reflection. He was studying his eyes. He whispered to himself, "You are not angry. You are not afraid. You are a man who observes these things and chooses what to do next." In that moment, he realized something most people never do. The human mind can be trained like any other muscle, but only through repetition, awareness, and effort. Every day you either strengthen your peace or your panic. You either feed discipline or feed doubt. Marcus chose peace, again and again, until it became his nature. The weight of the crown. Being emperor didn't make Marcus powerful, made him tested. Every decision he made affected millions. Every mistake could destroy his empire. And yet he remained calm. Why? Because he had already learned to rule the most chaotic kingdom of all, his own mind. He reminded himself, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." To him, life wasn't about avoiding problems. It was about rising above them with clarity and courage. He saw negativity as wasted energy, a fire that burns you from within while achieving nothing. So he turned his focus entirely on what he could control, his actions, his words, his perspective. And that's where his power came from, the Stoic shield. Whenever Marcus felt overwhelmed, he visualized a shield in his mind. A shield made not of metal but of thought, calmness, reason, and virtue. No insult could pierce it, no fear could break it. He reminded himself, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed." Negativity couldn't enter because his mind had become trained to block it. Not by force but by focus. He had learned that attention is the gatekeeper of peace. Whatever you focus on, you strengthen. So he guarded his attention like a soldier guards his post. As days turned to months, Marcus began to notice something. The storms in his mind grew weaker. The doubts that once shouted began to whisper. The fears that once controlled him began to fade. He had not destroyed his negative thoughts, he had outgrown them. But his training was far from complete. Because every battle won inside the mind only prepares you for the next one. And Marcus knew the next battle was coming. The night was heavy. The empire was restless. War, disease, rebellion, the Roman world was cracking. Marcus sat alone in his chamber. Outside, thunder rolled across the sky. Inside, another storm brewed, one not of nature but of the mind. For all his wisdom, even the emperor was human. Doubt crept in. Fear whispered. The weight of failure pressed on his chest. He closed his eyes and took a long breath. He remembered his own words. You have power over your mind, not outside events. But tonight, that truth was hard to hold. Because sometimes, the hardest enemy to fight is the one you thought you already defeated. The return of the negative voice. The mind never stops testing you. Just when you think you've conquered negativity, it returns, disguised, clever, convincing. Marcus could feel it, the voice saying, "You're losing your people. Your efforts mean nothing. You are failing." He let the thoughts speak. He didn't resist them. He just listened, quietly. Because he had learned that silence is stronger than argument. When you stop reacting, lies reveal themselves. He whispered to himself, "This thought is not truth. It's only a shadow passing through the mind." And with that awareness, the storm began to lose its power. Understanding the source of negativity. Marcus had spent years studying human nature, and he realized something profound. Most negative thinking doesn't come from reality. It comes from interpretation. Things happen, people betray, plans fail, losses occur, but negativity is born in how we perceive those events. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." This truth became his compass. Every time he felt pain, he asked himself, "Is this happening to me, or am I creating it in my mind?" And almost every time, he found that it was his own thoughts multiplying the suffering. That realization gave him control. Because once you see the illusion, it loses its grip. The power of inner distance. Marcus practiced what Stoics called inner distance. When a thought appeared, especially a negative one, he would mentally step back and observe it. He didn't say, "I am angry." He said, "There is anger." That small shift changed everything. Because when you identify with a thought, it becomes you. But when you observe it, it becomes just another event, temporary and harmless. He imagined each thought as a cloud passing across the sky of his mind. No matter how dark, it would eventually fade. The sky, his awareness, remained untouched. That's how he learned to remain calm in chaos, by remembering that he was not the storm. Facing fear with reason. The next morning, Marcus walked through the camp of his soldiers. He could see fear in their faces. They were tired, hungry, uncertain of victory. But he also saw something familiar, the same fear that once lived in him. He stopped before them and said, "It is not what happens that breaks a man. It is how he chooses to meet it." Those words weren't only for his soldiers, they were for himself. He reminded them and himself that courage is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move despite it. Marcus didn't tell his men to deny fear. He taught them to see through it. Because when you look at fear directly, without running, it loses its magic. It becomes just another feeling, not a command. The practice of negative visualization. That night, Marcus returned to his tent and performed a Stoic ritual, negative visualization. He imagined losing everything, the crown, his wealth, his friends, even his own life. Not to depress himself, but to free himself. He whispered, "What I have, I can lose. What I am, I cannot." By facing loss in his mind, he robbed it of its power. He realized that nothing truly belongs to him, not possessions, not people, not even his body. Everything is borrowed from the universe, and one day it will all return. That understanding made him light. When you stop clinging, negativity has nothing to hold on to. It slips away, powerless, transforming thoughts through gratitude. Marcus then did something simple yet powerful. He gave thanks. Not for victories but for struggles. Not for comfort but for challenge. He wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He thanked life for the obstacles that forced him to grow. He thanked the pain that taught him patience. He thanked betrayal for teaching him forgiveness. Gratitude transformed his thinking. Because negativity cannot survive where appreciation lives. Gratitude is light, and even the smallest light destroys darkness. The emperor's reflection. As the candle burned low, Marcus sat still. He watched the flame flicker, strong one moment, weak the next. It reminded him of the human spirit, never constant, always tested. He realized that strength doesn't mean never feeling negative. It means never surrendering to negativity. He smiled faintly and wrote one final line before closing his journal. Man's life is what his thoughts make it. And with that, he understood. To kill negative thinking is not to destroy the mind. It's to discipline it. But Marcus knew this was only one layer of mastery. There was a deeper truth waiting beyond it, a truth he would soon uncover. Days turned into weeks. The empire still demanded his strength, endless decisions, endless burdens. But Marcus had begun to understand something most men never discover. It's not the world that tires you, it's your thoughts about it. Even the strongest man can be broken by the noise inside his head. And even a slave can feel free, if his mind is calm. Marcus sat beneath the dim light of his chamber, his journal open. He could hear the distant echo of soldiers marching, but his real war was here, on paper, between ink and thought. He wrote slowly. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. And tonight he could feel the color of his own, dark, heavy, restless. When the mind turns against you, there are moments when even the wise lose direction. When the mind, instead of serving you, begins to attack you. Marcus felt it creeping in, that old voice again. You're not doing enough. You've lost their faith. You are the reason things fall apart. Negativity doesn't always scream. Sometimes, it whispers with perfect logic. It pretends to care. It pretends to warn. Marcus knew this trap. He had seen it before, the false wisdom of fear. He put down his pen, closed his eyes, and breathed deeply. He let the thoughts come, and then he let them pass. The mind adapts and converts to its own purposes the obstacle to our acting. That was his reminder. If the mind can create suffering, it can also create strength. It's not the thought itself that matters, it's what you do with it. The practice of reason over emotion. Marcus had trained himself to never act from emotion alone. He observed his feelings like a general studies the battlefield, with patience and precision. Whenever sadness rose, he asked, "Why am I sad?" Whenever fear whispered, he asked, "What is the truth beneath this?" Most of the time there was no real reason, only habit. A mind that had learned to worry without cause. He would remind himself, external things are not the problem. It's your judgment about them. That sentence was like armor. Because emotion is fire, and reason is water. When you pour reason on your emotions, they cool. He didn't want to destroy emotion. He wanted to govern it. Like a wise ruler governs his people, not with tyranny but with understanding. The mirror of mortality. One evening, Marcus walked outside the palace walls. The city was asleep. The stars above Rome flickered like distant fires. He looked up and whispered to himself, "Soon you will have forgotten all things. Soon all things will have forgotten you." For a moment he felt the full weight of that truth. Everything, the empire, the glory, the struggle, would one day fade. And with that realization, something inside him loosened. He felt light. Because when you truly remember that life is short, negativity loses its grip. Why waste your limited days in complaint? Why poison the little time you have with worry? Death, instead of frightening him, purified him. It reminded him to live, not later, not someday, but now, facing the shadows. But Marcus was honest with himself. Even the greatest wisdom cannot erase pain. There were nights when the weight felt unbearable. He missed the children he had lost. He missed the simplicity of being unknown. He would sit in silence and let tears fall, not in weakness but in understanding. Because Stoicism was never about becoming emotionless. It was about becoming unshaken. He whispered, "Don't hope for a life without problems. There's no such thing. Hope for the strength to face whatever comes." That was the core of his philosophy, acceptance, not resistance. And in that acceptance he found power, the discipline of self-talk. Marcus began a ritual. Every time a negative thought appeared, he spoke back to it, quietly but firmly. When the voice said, "You can't handle this," he replied, "Then I will learn to handle more." When it said, "This pain will destroy you," he answered, "This pain will teach me." When it said, "You are alone," he whispered, "Even if I am enough." He was reprogramming his mind, one sentence at a time. He refused to let his thoughts go unanswered. Because the voice inside you becomes your reality. And the only way to change your life is to change the way you speak to yourself. The moment of stillness. That night, Marcus sat cross-legged, his candle flickering beside him. He focused on his breath. In, out, slow, deliberate. No past, no future. Just this moment. He realized how quiet the world becomes when the mind stops fighting itself. He didn't need the crown to feel powerful. He didn't need control to feel peace. He needed only mastery over his own thoughts. In that silence, something shifted inside him. The noise faded. The weight lifted. He felt free. The mind, the master, and the slave. Marcus realized a terrifying truth. If you do not train your mind, it will enslave you. Every negative thought will command you. Every fear will dictate your choices. Every doubt will shape your destiny. But if you discipline it, if you teach your mind who is in charge, it becomes your greatest servant. He whispered to himself, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." That line wasn't a quote. It was survival. Because he had seen what happens when the mind turns dark. How men destroy themselves without ever being attacked. And Marcus swore, sitting there in the candlelight, that he would never again let his mind rule him. He would rule it. The emperor was learning that peace isn't a gift, it's a skill. A skill earned through patience, through awareness, through the quiet strength to face the darkest parts of yourself. But Marcus knew his journey wasn't finished yet. He had built discipline, now he would learn to build detachment. The next lesson awaited him. There comes a point, my friend, when pain feels endless. You've tried to stay calm, tried to stay strong, but everything seems to fall apart. The people you trusted disappointed you. The dreams you had began to fade. The motivation that once burned inside you started to dim. And in those dark hours, the mind starts whispering, "What's the point?" But Marcus Aurelius reminds you, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. The Stoic emperor never asked for an easy life. He knew that pain, loss, and frustration are not enemies, they are teachers. The same fire that burns the wood also gives it light. The same storm that breaks the weak forges the strong. So the next time pain visits you, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" Because if you learn to transform your pain into power, you become unstoppable. Think about this. Every wound you've ever had, emotional or physical, carried a lesson. When you failed, it taught you humility. When you were rejected, it taught you self-worth. When you were betrayed, it taught you who truly stands with you. Negative thinking comes when we see pain as punishment. But pain isn't punishment, it's purification. It burns away your illusions. It forces you to see what truly matters. Marcus wrote in his meditations, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." You see, it's not the event that breaks you, it's your judgment of it. The Stoic way is to remove that judgment. Don't label pain as bad, label it as fuel. When you say, "This challenge is here to make me better," your entire mental state shifts. You begin to use adversity as energy. That's what killing negative thinking means. You stop fighting the storm and start learning how to sail through it. Let's take an example from Marcus's own life. He ruled an empire in chaos, wars, plagues, betrayal within his own circle. Yet, history remembers him as the philosopher king. What? Because he didn't let pain corrupt his soul. He converted it into wisdom. He didn't say, "I'm suffering, so I'll break." He said, "I'm suffering, so I'll rise." You too can do the same. Every negative thought is just energy waiting to be redirected. You can use it to destroy yourself, or to rebuild yourself. When your mind says, "I can't do this anymore," reply, "Then I will do it one more time." When your heart says, "It hurts too much," whisper, "Then let this pain make me unshakable." That is the warrior mindset of a Stoic. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. Life will not stop testing you. Every level of your journey will demand a stronger version of you. The only way to survive is to stop expecting comfort. Instead, learn to become comfortable with discomfort. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the rock against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it." Imagine being that rock. The waves are your pain, your loss, your fears. But you remain steady, calm, unbroken. That is how you kill negative thinking. Not by running away from it, but by standing firm and letting the waves crash until they lose their strength. Here's a technique you can use the next time you feel consumed by pain. Pause. Don't react immediately. Breathe deeply. Observe. Ask yourself, what's really happening here? Detach. Remind yourself, this is outside my control. Reframe. Turn the thought around. This is training me. Do this often enough, and pain becomes your personal gym, where your strength, discipline, and patience grow stronger every day. The Stoics believed that every event in life was assigned to you by nature to help your soul evolve. So the next time life tests you, smile. Say to yourself, this is exactly what I needed. When you shift your relationship with pain, everything changes. The same circumstances that once filled you with anger now fill you with wisdom. The same moments that once broke you now build you. You start to see beauty in the battle. You begin to appreciate the struggle. And the negative thoughts, the ones that said you're not enough, that you can't go on, they start to lose their voice. Because you've replaced them with something far stronger: belief, patience, and purpose. Remember, you cannot control the storm, but you can control your sail. You cannot choose what happens, but you can choose how to respond. And that choice, that single moment of clarity, is where your power lies. So when pain knocks again, open the door. Welcome it. Learn from it. Say, thank you for coming. I needed another lesson. And then move forward with the calmness of Marcus Aurelius, the man who ruled not with anger but with reason, the man who faced storms and yet smiled. This is how you turn pain into power. This is how you kill your negative thinking. Because you understand now, pain doesn't make you weak. It reveals your strength. There is one practice, my friend, that separates the weak from the strong, the restless from the calm, the anxious from the wise: detachment. Marcus Aurelius lived in a palace surrounded by wealth, servants, and constant political chaos. Yet he trained his mind to remain untouched by it all. He wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That sentence carries the very essence of Stoicism. Detachment is not about caring less. It's about understanding what truly deserves your energy. It's not indifference, it's clarity. When you learn to detach, you begin to see how much of your suffering was never caused by the world, but by your own attachment to it. Think about it. How many times have you been hurt, not because something bad happened, but because you wanted it to be different? You wanted people to behave the way you expected. You wanted life to unfold according to your plan. You wanted things to stay forever, when nothing in this world was meant to last. The Stoics remind us, everything is temporary. People, moments, feelings, even your own body, all are borrowed gifts from nature. When you cling to what must eventually leave, you create your own suffering. But when you learn to let go, you kill the seed of negativity before it grows. Marcus Aurelius would write to himself daily, reminding his mind to accept loss, betrayal, and change as parts of the grand design. He didn't try to control the world. He mastered the art of responding to it. That's what detachment means, the freedom to stay calm when everything around you is shaking. You may lose people. You may lose opportunities. You may lose the version of yourself you once loved. But if you remain grounded in the understanding that nothing belongs to you permanently, peace follows. Because no one can steal from a person who owns nothing within. Let's make this practical. When someone insults you, detach. Their words belong to them, not to you. When plans fail, detach. Failure is only an event, not your identity. When life feels unfair, detach. Because fairness is a human idea, not a law of nature. Every time you detach, you reclaim a piece of your power. And slowly your mind becomes like a calm sea, deep, still, unshaken. Marcus Aurelius compared life to a play. He said, "Remember that you are an actor in a drama, of such a kind as the author pleases to make it." The Stoic doesn't argue with the script. He plays his role with excellence and grace, no matter what the next scene brings. You can't control the script, but you can control how you perform it. That is where your strength lies. Negative thinking thrives on attachment. When you attach your happiness to things, money, recognition, approval, relationships, you hand over your peace to forces beyond your control. And the moment those things shift, your happiness collapses. But detachment makes you invincible. When your peace depends only on your character and your choices, no external storm can reach you. Marcus would wake up every morning and say to himself, "Today I shall meet people who are selfish, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and rude. Yet I will not be harmed by them." That's the mindset of a detached soul, to expect imperfection, yet remain calm. To walk through chaos without letting it stain your spirit. Here's a truth: detachment is not weakness, it's mastery. It's not running away from life, it's rising above it. When you detach, you don't stop loving people, you start loving them without the need to control them. You don't stop chasing goals, you pursue them without being enslaved by the outcome. You don't stop feeling emotions, you simply stop letting them rule you. That's what Marcus practiced every single day. He had power, fame, and enemies, but his peace didn't depend on any of them, because he ruled his mind before he ruled the empire. You must learn to do the same. Detach from the noise. Detach from what you can't change. Detach from what drains your spirit. And then, focus only on your duty. That's another Stoic truth. Your duty is your anchor. Whether it's working, studying, caring for your family, or improving yourself, do it with full heart but without attachment to the result. Marcus said, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." The mind that lives in the present moment, detached from the fears of tomorrow and regrets of yesterday, becomes truly free. When you master detachment, negative thoughts lose their grip. Because negativity thrives on obsession, the need to control what's uncontrollable. Once you let that go, peace naturally enters. You start to see things as they are, not as you wish them to be. You no longer react, you respond. You no longer chase, you attract through calmness. And one day you realize that nothing external can break you anymore. You've built a fortress within. So remember, my friend, you can walk through fire without being burned, if you learn not to touch the flames. You can face storms without being swept away, if you stop fighting the wind. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start living with wisdom. You let life flow, and you flow with it. You let go and you grow. This is the Stoic path. This is how Marcus Aurelius killed negative thinking, not by escaping the world but by mastering his response to it. There comes a moment, my friend, when you realize that every battle you ever fought, every struggle, every tear, every sleepless night, was not against the world but against yourself. Your real enemy was never other people. It was never your failures nor your circumstances. It was your own uncontrolled mind, your own negative thinking. And once you conquer that, you conquer everything. Marcus Aurelius understood this truth deeply. As Emperor of Rome, he faced rebellion, betrayal, sickness, and loss. Yet through all of it, his calmness never shattered, because he ruled his inner empire far more fiercely than the outer one. He wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." That's the final Stoic lesson. The world doesn't shape you, your thoughts do. If your mind is pure, your world becomes peaceful. If your thoughts are disciplined, your life becomes powerful. To kill your negative thinking is to rebuild your life from within. Let's be honest, most people are slaves to their thoughts. They wake up and immediately let their fears decide their mood. They let opinions define their worth. They let their past dictate their future. But not you. Not anymore. Because now you understand, thoughts are not facts. They are choices. You can choose courage over fear. You can choose peace over panic. You can choose purpose over distraction. That's what it means to master your inner world. Marcus Aurelius practiced this every day. When storms raged around him, he didn't look for escape, he looked within. He asked himself, "Does this event destroy my ability to act with virtue?" If the answer was no, he remained calm. That's the Stoic superpower, to stay unshaken when the world tries to provoke you. Killing negative thinking isn't about forcing positivity. It's about discipline, mental discipline. You train your thoughts the way a warrior trains his body. You watch them. You question them. You reshape them. When your mind says, "I can't," you ask, "Who told you that?" When it says, "This is too much," you whisper, "Then let's grow stronger." When it says, "I'm not enough," you remind it, "I am still here, and that's enough for now." Over time, your mind learns who is in control. You are not your negative thoughts. You are the one observing them. You are not the chaos. You are the calm behind it. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." So ask yourself, what kind of thoughts are you feeding your mind every day? Are they thoughts of strength or weakness? Gratitude or resentment? Hope or fear? Whatever you think repeatedly becomes your reality. The Stoic doesn't ignore darkness, he transforms it. He turns obstacles into opportunities, pain into power, and fear into fuel. That's why Marcus never saw life as something to escape. He saw it as training, every event a lesson, every hardship a test, every loss a reminder of impermanence. The moment you adopt that mindset, negativity dies. Let's reflect for a moment. When you started this journey, your mind was full of noise, doubt, fear, overthinking. You felt like your thoughts controlled you. But now you see differently. You've learned that you are the gatekeeper of your mind. You decide which thoughts enter and which ones leave. You decide what story to tell yourself when life gets hard. And that story, the one you repeat to yourself, becomes your destiny. Marcus Aurelius said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." So if you want peace, think peace. If you want strength, think strength. If you want clarity, think like a Stoic. Because your outer world will always reflect your inner one. Now let's talk about something powerful, the practice of silence. Silence is the weapon of the wise. When you are silent, your thoughts slow down. Your awareness sharpens. and you begin to see which thoughts are real and which are illusions. Marcus used silence to train his mind. Amid the noise of politics, he wrote privately to himself. He turned chaos into reflection, and reflection into wisdom. You can do the same. Each day, take a few minutes to sit in silence. Observe your thoughts as they come and go. Don't chase them. Don't fight them. Just watch. Slowly, your mind will obey you. It will stop being your master and become your servant. That's the highest victory a human being can achieve. You see, the world doesn't reward the loudest mind, it rewards the calmest one. The one who can stand still while others panic. The one who can think clearly when everyone else reacts emotionally. That's stoic strength, calmness under fire. Marcus didn't win by controlling the empire. He won by controlling himself. And you can do the same. Every time you rise above negativity, you win. Every time you choose reason over rage, you win. Every time you refuse to let pain define you, you win. Because the war for peace is fought, and won, inside your own head. So as you reach the end of this journey, remember, killing your negative thinking is not a one-time act. It's a daily discipline. A choice you make every morning when you wake up. You choose to be calm when chaos arrives. You choose to be patient when people test you. You choose to be grateful when life feels unfair. And day by day, you build an unshakable mind. Marcus Aurelius lived by one simple principle: live in accordance with nature. Meaning, accept what comes, do your duty, and keep your soul pure. If you do that, nothing can destroy you. No fear, no pain, no loss, because your strength doesn't come from outside. It comes from within. So stand tall. You've faced your darkness. You've faced your fears. And you've learned the greatest truth of all. You were never weak. You were only unaware of your strength. Now you know. Now you see. Now you rise. The mind once filled with doubt is now a fortress of discipline. The heart once heavy with fear now beats with courage. And the soul once restless is finally at peace. This is the Stoic way. This is your way. This is how you kill your negative thinking. Forever. Silence, that's where it all begins. And that's where it all ends. After all the noise, all the battles inside your head, all the restless thoughts that once chained your soul, you stand here now, calm, grounded, awake. This is what Marcus Aurelius meant when he said, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The war was never outside, my friend. It was never the people who betrayed you, never the failures that haunted you, never the pain that broke you. It was your own mind, and you've learned to master it. This is your victory. There was a time when you let your thoughts control you, when every worry pulled you apart, when every doubt whispered louder than your courage. But now you've learned the art of awareness. You've seen what Marcus saw, that your mind can either be your prison or your palace. Your thoughts can either destroy you or build you. And that choice is made every single day. The Stoics didn't promise a painless life. They promised freedom from suffering by teaching you that pain is just information, not condemnation. That failure is not the end, but the beginning of growth. That anger is not strength, but confusion disguised as fire. Marcus taught you to pause, to breathe, to think. He taught you that the space between event and reaction, that tiny quiet space, is where your power lives. And the moment you use that space wisely, you stop being a slave to emotion and become a master of yourself. That's how you kill negative thinking. Not by running from darkness, but by becoming the light that dissolves it. Look at yourself now, stronger, quieter, wiser. Your peace no longer depends on people or circumstances. You've learned that discipline is the root of freedom. You've learned that gratitude is the antidote to fear. And you've learned that no matter how loud the storm, you can remain still inside it. Marcus would smile at you now, not because you've become perfect, but because you've become aware. He once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." And that's exactly what you're doing, not just speaking about strength, but living it. Understand this deeply. Your mind will still try to test you. It will whisper fears from your past. It will project illusions of the future. But you know better now. You've learned the Stoic art of returning to the present, the only place where peace truly lives. When your mind says, "What if?" you answer, "Let it be." When it says, "I'm not ready," you say, "Then I will begin anyway." Because Marcus taught you that you don't need control over everything, you just need control over yourself. And when you have that, the whole universe aligns quietly around you. There's a calmness now, not the kind that comes from silence, but from understanding. You've stopped fighting life. You've started flowing with it. This is the essence of Stoicism: to live in harmony with nature, to accept reality fully, to act with virtue no matter what comes. You no longer curse the rain, you walk through it. You no longer fear endings, you understand their beginnings. You no longer seek peace, you are peace. That's the evolution of your mind, from reaction to reflection, from chaos to command. Let's take one last lesson from Marcus. The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it. Everything changes. People change. Situations shift. Dreams evolve. But your inner fortress remains. Because you've built it stone by stone, patience, discipline, courage, acceptance. No external force can shake it now. You've become like the rock in the sea. The waves crash, the winds scream, but you stand still, quietly unshakable. That's not fantasy. That's your new reality. From this moment forward, your journey isn't about avoiding pain. It's about walking through it with strength. It's not about chasing perfection. It's about embracing progress. It's not about controlling the world. It's about mastering your mind. Because the greatest freedom a human can ever earn is the freedom from his own negative thoughts. So, from now on, every morning when you wake up, remember this. You are the master of your inner world. Your thoughts bow to your discipline. Your emotions obey your awareness. And your peace is no longer a fragile thing that the world can steal. It's a choice that lives within you. The Stoics didn't build empires for wealth or glory, they built empires of mind. And that's exactly what you've built. A mind so calm that no chaos can disturb it. A heart so steady that no rejection can weaken it. A soul so awake that no darkness can blind it. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations not for the world, but for himself. Reminders to stay grounded, to stay noble, to stay aligned with reason. You too must write your own meditations, not with ink but with action. Every patient moment, every act of forgiveness, every choice to stay calm when it would have been easier to rage, that's your meditation. That's your Stoic practice. And that's how you continue to kill negative thinking, not once but every day until calmness becomes your nature and wisdom becomes your breath. So stand tall now, breathe deeply, look within. You have walked through your fears, you have faced your mind, and you have emerged as something far greater. A soul that no longer bends to chaos, a heart that no longer hides from pain, a mind that no longer serves negativity. You've become what Marcus Aurelius called the man of reason. You've become what life was always trying to shape you into. You've become unshakable. And that, my friend, is your final victory.